A reading from the Gospel according to Matthew. As they went away, Jesus began to speak to the crowds about John. "What did you go out into the wilderness to look at? A reed shaken by the wind? What then did you go out to see? Someone dressed in soft robes? Look, those who wear soft robes are in royal palaces. What then did you go out to see? A prophet? Yes, I tell you, and more than a prophet. This is the one about whom it is written, 'See, I am sending my messenger ahead of you, who will prepare the way before you.' Truly, I tell you, among those born of women, no one has arisen greater than John the Baptist, yet the least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. From the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven has suffered violence, and the violent take it by force. For all the prophets and the law prophesied until John came, and if you are willing to accept it, he is Elijah who is to come. Let anyone with ears listen." The word of the Lord. Today, I think about the questions, who is our guide, and how are we a guide for others? This story is a story intimately about John the Baptist and about his relationship to Jesus Christ. And John the Baptist had amassed a great collection of followers. A great collection of followers primarily because he was willing to speak truth to power. He wasn't afraid. He was willing to say to people, you aren't following God. You aren't loving God. And you aren't loving your neighbor as yourself. And I'm calling you out for that where I see it. He is in that way a prophet whose job it is to look out at the world and see where we are living in ways that will hurt us and will be destructive for us. And to instead say, I call you to look at that and think about a different way of living. That's what John the Baptist is doing in this story. And he's collected a great number of followers. And as their guide, he implores them to go out and find Jesus because he thinks this is the guy. This is the guy who I think is the Messiah, the one that we have been waiting for. He's the one that's not going to just call us out when we don't love God and love our neighbor, but he's come to show us how to do it better. John the Baptist is so sure of it that even when he has been arrested, he sends some of his followers to go and talk to Jesus and find out, are you really him? Are you the real deal? The one we've been waiting for? And when they talk to him, they're convinced he is. He is the one that they've been waiting for. They come back and report to John the Baptist. And it's thought that after John is killed, that many of Jesus' first followers were among the followers of John the Baptist, because John was there first to lead them that way. It makes me wonder in our own lives. In our own lives, who is our guide? Jesus, yes, obviously. But what other inspirational figures do you have in your life that lead you to love God and love those around you more? Maybe it's a writer that you have read. Maybe it's an inspirational historical figure. Maybe it's a parent or a neighbor or a coworker or a friend who inspires you to love God and love those around you a little bit better. Whoever those inspirational figures are that have been your guides, embrace that. Thank that. Let them be your guide. And then also use that to go to others. Don't stop with you. Go then to others and be their guide. Point out Jesus in their lives. Point out opportunities to love God and love our neighbor in their lives. If we follow that tradition of being like John the Baptist, who was not Jesus, but was more like, as Jesus says, more like Elijah, the person who led the way, who was the guide, to say, here's what's inspired me to love God and love my neighbor better. And I want to point that way to you so that it may be an inspiration for you as well. Who is your guide? And how are you being a guide for others? Amen.